Have you ever just stopped and thought, how did we do it? How did our species Homo sapiens go from being just another ape hanging out in Africa to, well, the undisputed rulers of the entire planet? It's a crazy underdog story for sure. The secret to how we pulled it off, it's something you'd probably never guess. So let's get into it. Let's be real. On paper, we were not the favorites to win, not by a long shot. You had other human species like Neanderthals who were probably stronger physically, even had bigger brains than us. I mean, in a straight up one on one fight, a Neanderthal would have absolutely destroyed a Sapien, like no contest. So, if we weren't the strongest and maybe not even the smartest, how in the world did we end up being the ones left standing? What was our secret sauce? So, we are actually going to do something a little weird. We're not going to look at ancient bones or fossils. We're going to look at something way more familiar, a car company, the legend of Peugeot. So think about a huge company like the Peugeot. We all know it exists, right? But what is it? I mean, really, where is it? Can you point to it? Can you touch it? It seems like a super simple question, but trust me, the answer is mind blowing. Well, here's where it gets weird. Peugeot isn't its cars, it's not its factories. If you blew up every single car and factory tomorrow, the company could just borrow money and build new ones. It's not even its employees or its managers or the shareholders. You could probably even replace every single person and Peugeot would still exist. So what in the world is it? Well, here's the secret. Peugeot is something called a limited liability company. Yes, a limited liability company. And that is a complete work of fiction. It's a legal story. It's an idea that only exists because we all lawyers, customers, governments collectively agreed to believe in it. And this story is so powerful that it can own property, it can sign contracts, it can even sue people in court, all without having a physical body. And this isn't just about companies. The ability to create and believe in fictions, it's everywhere. It's some of the most powerful forces that shape our lives, like nations, money, even human rights. None of them exist in the physical world. They are all just incredibly powerful stories that we agree to live by. Now let's wind the clock 70,000 years ago, and that's what called the cognitive revolution. This was the moment, the exact point in history where Homo sapiens got this upgrade and it became our ultimate secret weapon. So what changed? Well, it was all about language. And Neanderthals could probably communicate about the real world. Hey, watch out. There's a lion over there. The lion they could point out, but a sapiens could do something else entirely. They could say the lion is the guardian spirit of a tribe. See the difference? One just describes reality, the other creates a new reality out of thin air. And that ability to talk about things that aren't physically there, that was the game changer. But why was that so important? Simple. Cooperation, believing in the same shared stories, whether it's about a tribal spirit, a nation, or a god, is what allowed thousands and eventually millions of complete strangers to walk together, to work together. Think about it. Neanderthals were probably great at cooperating in their small family groups, but they could never unite an entire valley, let alone a country, behind a single story. But we could, and that's how we won. So, armed with this incredible superpower of cooperation, we started to reshape the entire planet. The biggest fraud of history, the agricultural revolution. But here's the twist, it was a trap. We walked straight into it. Now, from a purely evolutionary standpoint, you got to admit farming was a huge success. I mean, our population just exploded. We went from the small scattered group of hunter gatherers to massive dense societies of farmers. But here's the catch, it was a classic case of quantity over quality. Where the species as a whole thrived, the life of an average person, it got way worse. The average farmer had a worse diet and was way more stressed out than their forager ancestors. For the individual, it was an absolute terrible deal. This is what we call the luxury trap, and it's something we still fall for all the time. Think about like this email. It was supposed to be this amazing invention that would save us so much time, right? No more writing letters, but it did it make our life more relaxed? No, it just sped everything up. And now we live in the world of constant notifications and pressures to reply instantly, right? The unifying myth. Okay, so fast forward now, you got millions of people living together in cities and empires. The old tribal stories weren't going to cut anymore. We needed bigger, more powerful fictions. We needed stories that could get millions of peoples. So what was the unifying point? What were the unifiers? First, you have money, basically a system of mutual trust. Second, you have empires, a shared political story about who's in charge. And third, you have universal religions, a shared story about the cosmos and our place in it. And out of those three, you can make a pretty strong case that money is the single most powerful success story humans have ever told. Think about it. It's the one thing that almost everyone believes in. It lets two people hate each other who worship different gods and who come from opposite ends. Now, designing new realities, the scientific revolution. This is the point where our fictions become so powerful that we just stop telling stories. And at this moment, the world will start actively rewriting the rules of reality itself. You know what the secret ingredient was? What kicked this whole revolution? Something really simple, but totally radical at that time. Admitting that we are ignorant. For the first time in history, we as a species collectively said, you know what? We don't have all the answers. And that's humility. That willingness to admit we don't know is what unlocked an insane amount of power. And the result? The cosmic proportions. For 4 billion years, every single living thing on this planet was shaped by one thing: natural selection. But today, right now, for the first time ever, life is starting to be shaped by something new: intelligent design. And this is the not science fiction. This is shaping us right now. Scientists have always created a rabbit that glows fluorescent green by mixing its DNA with a jellyfish gene. They have literally grown a human ear on the back of a mouse. We are actively hacking the code of life. The ultimate goal of all the science is to achieve what was once a religious idea, to defeat death itself. Which brings us to the final and honestly the most important question: what do we want? Now that we have this godlike power to design life, to literally create new realities, what do we do with it? What's our end game? So it all comes full circle. Our entire journey from an insignificant ape to the ruler of this planet was fueled by one thing: our ability to tell stories and believe in them together. And now we are on the brink of writing the biggest story yet, a completely new chapter for life itself. We are literally becoming the gods that our ancestors could only worship and imagine. So, the final chilling question, something much, much deeper. What do we want? That is the question of our time.